What happened to me shouldn't happen to anyone, but I'm glad it did. When I walked into Luxe Boutique, I expected nothing less than the red carpet treatment, something every customer deserves. Instead, I was met with hostility, suspicion, and ultimately, rejection. My name is Dennis Sterling, and the very store that I built, one that promised equality and dignity, became a stage for the worst kind of discrimination. As I stepped up to the counter, intent on purchasing an exquisite dress, Brad, the dismissive sales guy, sized me up like I was nothing more than a charity case. "You might find something more your speed in the clearance section," he mocked, laughter echoing around the store. It felt like a punch to the gut, but the fight hadn't left me yet. With every whispered conversation from onlookers and Jennifer, the store manager, questioning the validity of my platinum card, humiliation washed over me like cold water. But the moment I was escorted out by security, my heart swelled with an unexpected resolve. In just 7 minutes, I would return. Not as the disrespected customer, but as the owner, cloaked in confidence and armed with accountability. The shocked faces of my employees, Brad and Jennifer, crystallized the reversal of power that was about to unfold. With their positions stripped away, I made it clear that discrimination has no place in my store. I turned my pain into purpose, ensuring that my boutique would be a beacon of inclusion. I shared my mother's struggles against discrimination, reinforcing that no one should feel less than human. In the end, I transformed not just a store, but a culture, not with revenge, but with resilience. And that makes all the difference. "Can I help you?" Brad sneered, barely masking his disdain. Dennis, dressed in a crisp polo and jeans, smiled. "I'm looking for a specific dress, actually." Brad's eyes narrowed. "I think we have something that might suit you. In the clearance section, you seem more comfortable there." Laughter erupted from nearby shoppers, and Dennis's cheeks flushed. "I'm actually interested in a luxury item. Here's my card." He presented his platinum card, the very same he'd worked tirelessly to achieve. Jennifer, the store manager, sauntered over, hands on her hips. "I'm sorry, but can we check if this is valid?" Her voice carried across the boutique, drawing unwanted attention. "Excuse me?" Dennis's voice trembled with frustration. "I own this store. You can't question my ability to purchase anything here." "Right," Jennifer shot back, smirking as a group of customers began whispering. "But that doesn't mean we can't verify." Dennis's heart raced as Marcus, the security guard, had now stepped in. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." His tone was cold, devoid of empathy. "Trez, you're serious?" Dennis felt the weight of humiliation as he surveyed the mocking faces around him. "Now," Marcus demanded, glancing at Jennifer for reinforcement. Dennis's composure cracked, betrayal lacing his voice. "This is my store." Jennifer insisted, folding her arms defiantly. Defeated, Dennis stepped outside, his heart pounding. 7 minutes later, dressed in a tailored power suit, he returned. "Jennifer, Brad." The change in his voice silenced the store. "I'm afraid I need to let you go." "What? You can't?" Brad sputtered, eyes wide with disbelief. Dennis's glare was steady. "I just did, and I never will again." "This is unacceptable," Jennifer shouted, backing away. "No. What's unacceptable is how you treated someone who deserved respect in his own store." With voices raised, the power shifted. Dennis wasn't just the owner. He was a man reclaiming dignity, turning humiliation into a lesson for all. Team. The air inside Luxe Boutique was thick with an unspoken tension as Dennis Sterling stepped through the gleaming doors, ready to purchase a designer dress he had his eye on for weeks. Today was supposed to be a celebration of his hard-earned success, but the moment his presence darkened the store, the atmosphere shifted. Brad, the dismissive sales associate, eyed him like a predator assessing prey. "You might be more comfortable over there," Brad chuckled, nodding toward the clearance rack. Dennis's heart sank, but he forced a smile, hoping to brush it off. "I'm looking for something upscale," he replied, his voice steady, laced with suppressed indignation. Later that followed from Jennifer, the manager, ripped through him like a cold wind. "Are you sure you can afford it? Let's see that card," she challenged with a sneer. As her words echoed against the Parisian decor, he felt the stares of fellow shoppers, judgment and disbelief mingling in their eyes. When Marcus, the security guard, approached with heavy footsteps, it became clear this was not just a misunderstanding, but a coordinated act of humiliation. "You need to leave," Marcus said, the authority in his tone solidifying the betrayal that clung to Dennis. 7 minutes later, he returned, the power suit shining as brightly as his resolve. The air shifted again, charged with an energy that had not been there before. "Jennifer, Brad," he began, each name a punishment, each word a quiet thunderstorm. "You've made a grave mistake." Their stunned expressions were a mirror to the years of hurt he had buried deep within. "Effective immediately, you're fired," he announced, the weight of his voice undeniable. A new chapter had begun, and with it, a commitment to transformation that would reverberate through the very foundations of his store. Turbulence took a deep breath and smoothed down the crisp lapels of his power suit, a stark contrast to the casual wear he had sported earlier. Stepping back into Luxe Boutique, he felt a surge of clarity and purpose. The sharp click of his polished shoes echoed on the marble floor, each step a declaration of his reclaiming authority. "Jennifer, Brad," he addressed them coolly, their faces draining of color as they recognized him. "I need to speak with you, now." The air was thick with tension as he pulled values like equality and dignity into the forefront of the room. "You both made a grave mistake today," he continued, his voice steady, though laced with an unmistakable firmness. "This store was built on the belief that everyone deserves respect, regardless of appearance." Brightness fumbled with his words, stammering out an excuse. "I didn't realize you were interstate." "You didn't realize I was the CEO," Dennis interrupted, cutting him off. The weight of recognition settled over the employees like a heavy shroud. With the glint of determination in his eyes, he declared, "Consider this your last day." The word fired hung in the air, charged with a new beginning. Dennis turned to the other staff watching from a distance. "Change is coming. There will be diversity training and a fresh hiring strategy, starting immediately." As he walked out, a soft murmur of approval spurred him on. Each small victory, a fired employee, an inclusive future, was a step toward a greater comeback. He had taken control, and with it, he sparked a movement toward accountability that would resonate far beyond Luxe Boutique. Dennis stood outside Luxe Boutique, his heart pounding with disbelief. Just 7 minutes ago, he had been ushered out under the scrutiny of mocking eyes. Now, dressed in a power suit and flanked by legal counsel and corporate security, a quiet resolve settled within him. He pushed through the glass doors, the bells chiming a somber welcome. Politic, that atmosphere had shifted. The laughter and whispers from earlier had morphed into an uneasy silence. Brad's casual demeanor faltered as he recognized Dennis, the color draining from his face. Jennifer, flustered, avoided eye contact, her confidence peeling away. "Jennifer, Brad," Dennis began, his voice steady but firm, cutting through the tension like a knife. "We need to talk. You both seem to be unaware of whom you've just kicked out of his own store." The startled silence enveloped them as Dennis's words hung heavy in the air. Brad fumbled for an excuse, stammering, I thought you were just another customer." The dismay etched on his face felt almost palpable, while Jennifer's eyes darted around for an escape that wouldn't come. "I built this place on the promise of equality," Dennis continued, the weight of his shared history with those walls pressing into the moment. "This is not just a store, it's a safe haven, and it's clear both of you are not fit to represent it." He gestured to the door, asserting control as he announced their termination, the words reverberating in the air like a victorious anthem. As they shuffled out, embarrassment melting into disbelief, Dennis felt a liberating crunch beneath his polished shoes, the threads of discrimination unraveling. He turned to the remaining staff, a mixture of apprehension and newfound respect written on their faces. "With change comes accountability," Dennis declared, outlining plans for diversity training and systemic changes. Hope sparked as he watched nods of agreement ripple through the crowd. Marcus, the security guard who had once enforced the expulsion, now stood taller, ready to lead the very workshops that would reshape their culture. Later, as Dennis stepped outside, he took a deep breath, the weight of the moment lifting. He felt the tremors of triumph within him, subtle yet profound. His heart swelled, knowing that justice didn't always scream. Sometimes, it simply whispered change into the world. As I sit in the quiet of my office reflecting on that day at Luxe Boutique, I can't help but feel a wave of mixed emotions. The experience was not just a confrontation, it was a wake-up call. I was met with disbelief and disdain in a place I built with my own hands, where I imagined equality and respect. It wasn't just about the humiliation, but the revelation that prejudice can lurk even in spaces meant to uplift. When I returned, dressed in my power suit, I felt stronger, empowered by my journey. I stood there confronting my employees not just as their boss, but as a man who'd tastefully navigated the complexities of identity and respect. Firing them wasn't merely about revenge. It was a necessary step toward fostering an environment where everyone feels value. Technol, have you ever felt the weight of someone's bias against you? How did you handle it? I invite you to share your stories, thoughts, and feelings in the comments. Let's discuss accountability, justice, and the journey toward change together.